Welcome back to Gaffers Salon. Moving into winter here in New York City. It's about 40 degrees today in the shop. Anyway, I thought it might be interesting to talk about what I would consider essential accessories, or maybe more aptly put, stuff I like and I use a lot and I find super useful. So I wanted to start with this nice grip handle. This is made by Global 3D in the UK. Terrific company. They do a lot of custom work, 3D printed custom work. They've got a variety of accessories for Helios, Titan, Hyperion, etc., as well as other stuff. But this one I thought was really nice. You can get it in different color permutations. It clips on pretty solidly to the tube. Holds very well. It's not going anywhere. They do supply it with a couple of reusable zip ties, so you can put a zip tie and, you know, literally safety the tube right in there. They also make, like I said, a variety of things. I like these Hex anti-roll end caps. Mine are black. They come in white. I think they come in translucent. They go on really quickly, which is why I like them. I don't like to muck around with the Astera ones. And then that you could just, you know, adjust your angle. I find these really useful. I have a set for every tube that I own. And of course, most of us know about the Lightsocks, which is just a fabulous accessory. This is the single tube Helios version. They make a double tube version, which is slightly bigger, obviously twice the output. They've now also, originally they just came with this fabric. Now they've got a variety of fabrics. They've got some lighter weight, like more like quarter grid, etc. And each one of these comes with a sort of Velcro soft barn door, if you would. And I only have one on, so there's two of them. So you can make a narrow slit, like if you're using it as a backlight or whatever. So I find these to be incredibly useful. I absolutely love them. So most of you probably know, this is the Rosco DMG Dash. I've been a big fan of these, especially since the release of the CRMX version, and I now have the 8-light charging case and everything. And most people know about this dot. I believe Aperture's starting to make these, a similar one like these for their MC Pros. And if you wanted to, Global 3D Printing in the UK also makes one with a black backing that'll take either the MC Pro, even the Hydra panel, or the standard Rosco DMG Dash version. So they have a variety of just the back plates. So that's really useful. So in addition to the dot accessory, another essential accessory for me for these DMG Dash units, once again made by Global 3D in the UK, and that's a set of Snoots. They make 3 different sizes. I believe this is the middle size, and you can just take the diffuser on this one, lay it inside, and you've got a nice little, relatively low profile snoot. Now I had ordered these a year ago and decided to order the deeper Snoots, which are designed a little bit differently. So here is the deeper snoot. So it appears this one, the diffusion disc doesn't drop inside. So you put the diffusion disc on first. This sits on the outside, and it has magnets in the front as well. So that allows you to take the OEM egg crate and stick it right in the front. So this is just a fantastic, you know, in a nightclub or a bar or any sort of lower foot candle environment where the pocket lights are going to hero. These Snoots to me are just absolutely an essential accessory. So another essential accessory for me, and an affordable one at that, is the Nanlux Leko adapter, which I have here, and I've mounted to it, you know, part of the Leko, you know, to which you put your lens into. And I have 2 of these in a nice hard case I had custom made. I want to say these are around $300. You could probably pick up a used Leko body for next to nothing these days. And this allows you to use any standard ETC lens with your Evoke 900C, your 1200D, your 1200Bs, and jury's out yet whether this will work on the new 2400B. The really nice thing about this is it does allow the barrel to rotate. And we know that's been a huge problem with a lot of Leko adapters, projection, etc. But this works very much like it was on a standard Leko. You can rotate the barrel the same as you would as if it was on a Leko. So to me, this is really essential. I've used this quite a bit recently with the 900C, doing some very nice color stuff. It, obviously is not optically as efficient with these older lenses that were designed for point source bulbs. We've transformed to a large cob, so it's not as efficient. I think once down the road that Nanlux releases their own line of lenses, they'll undoubtedly be heavier, bigger glass to be more optically efficient. But I found, especially when shooting in a studio and we're not at crazy foot candle levels, I had no issues with using that with the 900C. So given the cost of it, it's just, for me, an essential accessory to have. I usually take it with me on every job because I don't know, when I'll need it. And so to have the luxury to use a Leko that's full color for a very affordable price, an extra $300, $325, whatever it is, really a great tool. If you've been on Gaffers Salon at all, you've undoubtedly encountered Ken Sody from Belgium, a gaffer from Belgium. And so Ken has invented this little accessory for the Litemats. This is the Litemat 2L, which is how he started. This is called his Curve. This has unbleached muzz. You can also get the standard, just heavy white diffusion. And he's now making them for Litemat 1s and Litemat 4s. And it's a very clever design, very well made. These Velcro on, they're these metal, I guess you could call them hasps, and they fit right into the holes of the Litemat, which I guess these were made, if you wanted to screw them into a structure or something like that. So these fit right in. You get this beautiful, nice, soft source. And I've talked about this before, but I like to send my Litemats and most of my lights out as a kit, and I price it accordingly because, we never know, am I going to need the Curve? Am I going to need the honey crate? What am I going to need in any particular moment? I don't know. So I like to have multiple diffusions. I like to have magic cloth. Yes, I have the standard diffusions for the Litemat that it comes with, but then I might have a half saw frost and unbleached muzz. I have the Curve accessory. I have the honey crate. All that goes out as a kit and is priced accordingly because I want it on every job. And I highly recommend these Curves. Are absolutely terrific. Here's another thing I love. I don't know if you could call it an accessory. It's certainly akin to CRLS, but it is these Dedo E-flect. And these are bendable mirror tiles. You can shape them. They have a mounting plate on the back. This is the larger size, 18 inches, I believe. You can get them in multiple configurations. So either silver or gold. This is an example of the smaller 8-inch, and you can get different size mirror tiles, essentially. These are made up of little mirror tiles, and they're bendable. The small ones use a magnetic mount, and these, again, in gold or silver. The small ones, you can get this very tight mirror pattern. You can get a slightly larger mirror pattern. The mounting system that Dedo uses is actually interchangeable with the CRLS system. So if you have a C wheel from a CRLS, that'll work. Or if you have the Dedo wheel, that'll work on your CRLS. So that's a nice combination. And this is the large one. They also make a smaller mirror, the size of the tile. And these are terrific for throwing really sort of out of focus patterns on a background, especially when you're sometimes using the mirror tile, you can get sort of sharp striations. But if you have a background that's going to be out of focus anyway, it looks like a really beautiful Leko breakup. And I find I use this quite a bit in tabletop. I was just shooting a bunch of interviews with Vietnam vets, and we had a whole bunch of memorabilia that we had to put on the table. And I just used one of these with the Nanlux 60 into it, and I could just get all sorts of interesting patterns on the background, which were then out of focus. And using the gold one gave us a nice warm breakup. So I find these really super useful. I still have traditional broken mirrors, which give you a kind of different optical characteristic. But the fact that these are bendable, they've held up pretty well. If you use them a lot and you're too aggressive in bending them, you can start to loosen up. I've had to glue back a tile or two. They're not terribly expensive. Honestly, don't remember what I paid for these, but I've got one set in the 18-inch, both in gold and in silver, and same with the 8-inch. And so anytime I'm doing a tabletop job, or sometimes even a documentary background, I will bring these with me. Definitely highly recommended. Here's another thing, it's surprisingly become kind of essential for me. I mean, I went probably 20 years into my career never having used an umbrella. We always thought, oh, that's a stills thing. And then maybe 5 years ago or so, when I bought my Hudson Spider Redback and I bought 2 Hudson Spider Mozzies, you know, Sarah had a line of the Westcott umbrellas they were selling, and I started finding these really, really useful. I got a couple hard silver, I got some soft silver, I got some white, and I'd find myself using them quite often. The 7-foot umbrellas. This is also a 7-foot. This is by C Bluff company, paulcbluff.com. This is a soft silver umbrella. I'll pull over. This is the Hudson Spider. It's got the cut down stem, so it fits on the Mozzie or the Spider. And it's a bit, I don't know if you can tell, but these are both soft silver, but they're quite different qualities. The Westcott, it's a Hudson Spider umbrella, but they're made by Westcott. This is a little bit more specular and a little bit different quality than this one. They're both quite lovely. And unfortunately, they don't make the 7-foot in this material yet. For whatever reason, Westcott's not making it. This is a 43-inch. And you could buy Westcott and get the long stem. The Hudson Spiders have the cut down stem. But what's really great about these, oftentimes, you know how sometimes we're on location and we want to have like an 8x magic cloth or something as a soft fill or whatever. Sometimes a 7-foot umbrella is just as good, and you could put it on a C-stand and just walk it around a lot easier. And I think the quality that comes off of the hard silver and the soft silver, it's got a little bit of that specularity that really feels like maybe daylight pushing through a window. That's a little bit harder. Or you can go to the white umbrella, and of course you've got a nice soft wrappy source. So I love the 7-foot. I love the 43-inch. I have a variety. I even have some in gold, some in diffusion, but principally the soft silver and the white are my go-tos, and occasionally the hard silver is super useful. And the beauty thing about these is they are super cheap. Most of these umbrellas are between $70 and $150. So you can get, you could have 2 or 3 of these on hand for not a lot of money. And if you combine them, I believe this is a Manfrotto. There are a number of different companies that make umbrella holders, you know, with a baby pin. So you could put a small cob light on here. If you're dealing in really low light, you can almost get away with like a Nanlux 60C, no reflector dish, nothing. Just get the raw cob to get the spread, and you can have a really nice soft source or a slightly more specular source depending on your choice of umbrellas. And if you want to bump up, you could go into a combi stand with a combi head, put the umbrella into the combi stand, a combi head, and say drop a Evoke 1200B, for example. No reflector dish, raw cob, and you can get, you know, a tremendous amount of output out of a bigger size cob light. So I'm finding these umbrellas remarkably useful. Not for every show, not for every job, but there are certain situations where they're absolutely just the perfect tool.